representative for this year. So again, I'm really happy to be here. And I think if for like one of those people that maybe like you go to work and you're showing somebody like a really cool picture of a moth you saw that showed up at your light, and like everybody just gives you blank stares because they're completely disinterested and wondering why you would bother to take a picture of that. But you know, the people here in this group, like, we get it, and these are your people. So we're really happy you're here. And we have another one of last year's class. This is Teddy. She'll be talking to us later. She's on the board, but she'll be having a little presentation in a little bit. So anyway, we're really glad you're here. We're going to show a quick video that's about 12 minutes, and it gives a really great overview of the Texas Master Naturals program, the history, how it came to be, the sorts of things we do. So
if you story around that, you just follow.
Yeah, and I'm taking notes.
Of course, we have an ad. Whoops.
Oh,
A mattress at the beginning.
We can always go, on the other side of the world, there's something that needs to be conserved when there's actually things right on the corner that need to be conserved and are important to our natural resources. Having been an urban biologist, it was always kind of a challenge to kind of get people to think about what's right in their own backyard. And Master Naturals play an important role in being able to do that.
Can you guys hear it okay?
Yeah.
What we as urban biologists began to realize very early in the inception of the urban program at Texas Parks and Wildlife was the need to clone ourselves, because we were absolutely in so much demand to provide technical guidance on ecological systems that we could not fulfill the need.
We realized that if we didn't have a core of volunteers that we could draw on for that, that it was going to be really difficult for us to reach very many people.
People working in conservation and resource management at the city, county, state, and federal level will never have enough staff to accomplish the work that needs to be done. So it's through a core of trained and dedicated volunteers, you can really move the needle, really accomplish so much more.
We needed people to be urban biologists who understood the ecosystems, who could go when we were not able to go to public meetings, to represent the prairies and the forests of our state, as well as having people be able to know what their local park needs from an ecological perspective and be a voice for that park. And so it was from that desperate need that this program arose. So the urban program was one of the main partners in creating this Master Naturals program along with San Antonio Parks and Recreation Department. Rufus Stevens and Judith Gowan at the time, Judith Green now, they started kicking around the idea of this program of ecologically based extensive training in return for volunteer service hours.
The idea of a Master Naturals program came from a program in the city of Fort Collins, Colorado, where they trained citizens within their local community to be stewards. I think Rufus or Debbie were at a national conference where they learned about this program, and the idea for a similar program was born back in Texas.
Debbie Reed, who was working with San Antonio Restaurant, came to myself and Judith Green and said, I think we ought to start a program for conservation. We should call it Master Naturals. That's a great idea.
And so the three of them nursed that idea, and then together they helped to form and guide that first chapter into what is now the Master Naturalist Program.
So sky was the limit as to how we put this together. Had a lot of people with input, really great ideas to help get it started. We were all committed to making it the best it could be.
All of us got to just to see it from its inception.
It was really a group effort, you know, where all these people came together and made it happen.
Are you constantly overwhelmed with your to-do list? Here's what you can do. This strategy is so effective, even a US president swore by it. We're talking about the Eisenhower matrix. All of your to-dos fall into one of these 4 quadrants. I'm gonna explain it really quickly and then show you the.
Sorry about that.
Well, as we were putting the structure together for a program, there was a lot of interest expressed from around the state.
The idea of the Master Naturalist Program spoke to people. It spoke to that there were lots of people that had that as an interest.
There was so much enthusiasm for what was happening in San Antonio. There was a person who heard about it in Dallas and already had begun to say, we need this in Dallas. And there were a lot of people in the Dallas conservation community that said, we want it now. So of course I said, okay.
Our Master Naturalist program grew from the chapter in San Antonio and the chapter in Dallas, basically as a groundswell of volunteers who heard about the program, who got their local Parks and Wildlife and extension staff involved. They said, we'd like to bring this to our county or to our group of counties. Will you help or will you allow us to do this?
And at that point, we realized that it was going to take off.
Right after that, it was Houston and then Austin, and then we were off to the races.
We had just an exponential growth of chapters in the first couple of years as more communities saw the power that this program is going to be able to provide for their local conservation organizations, their local conservation needs, and for their citizens as well.
Even today, this is how all of our chapters start, with the interest of volunteers who work with their local community partners to bring these resources and people and organizations together to offer a Master Naturalist program in their local community.
Today we have 48 chapters scattered across the state.
We've trained about 12,000 Master Naturalists within the program to date.
When a Master Naturalist joins the program, they're usually there to learn about what they see around them. They want to know what these flowers are. They want to know what these birds are, what these bees are, and they want to understand how all of these parts and pieces work together.
First, they get a broad overview of Texas natural resources. After that, their training really specializes on the local natural resources around them. They learn about the land management, land use history. They'll learn about the ecoregion that they're in, the plants, the wildlife, the river and water systems, everything that makes that ecosystem what it is. So they really become experts in their local natural resources. Our volunteers give back over 430,000 hours of service on an annual basis. They're providing management assistance or recommendations to small acreage landowners. They're turning dirt and developing trails, helping us with stewardship projects, research, outreach, and education.
They provide an invaluable education for our public, for our policymakers about the conservation needs of our state.
Master Naturalists are having impact way beyond what anyone ever would have thought 20 years ago.
When we think about impacts that the program is making, not only on the natural resource side, the acreage, the trail miles, the people reached through outreach and education, those are some impacts, but there's the personal impacts. they're the ones that bring the tears to my eyes. From a mom who's suddenly become an empty nester, and they've said that this program has really given them something that they can look forward to, give back to their community, get back to their roots. Other people I know have gone through the program and found their soulmate. We have master naturalists that have got married.
They're involved not only in the chapter itself, they take it far beyond. It's become a real integral part of their life.
They do it not only through the projects in their community, through teaching school kids or leading tours, but they take it home with them. Teach their neighbor, grandkids. You just see that conservation ethic becoming generational. Now we have so many people watching these master naturalists. They can't help but fall in love with the resources as well.
Step into Wix Studio, the platform for agencies and enterprises, and turn website layouts into an art form.
Thank you, you two.
I love quotes, and I read a couple books of quotes each day. And one of the quotes is by Sir Thomas Browne. And he said, "We have within us the wonders that we seek around us." And I think the Texas Master Naturalist program stimulates the wonders in us to seek things around us.
The Master Naturalist program simply amplifies what that person is in his or her spirit. There's something innate about them, about their upbringing, about their experiences, about their personal passion that draws them to these projects. And the program simply helps them to thrive and gives them the tools they need to show that passion to others.
I think there is an untapped pool of people who have that passion for natural resources, yet not the professional background. And that it's a great opportunity through this program to be able to tap into that.
I think that everybody has an interest in some facet of natural resources, be it slugs and snails, that may be your interest. And it may be because you love escargot that you're interested in snails. I couldn't foresee somebody saying, well, there's nothing here for me to volunteer on. It will find you if you look.
Every master naturalist I know just has a special heart for native ecosystems, whether it's for plants or for wildlife, or for geology, whatever that is. There's just a love and a passion in their heart for that. And it also just seems to kind of have to come out of them. You're around them and there's a question about something that you see, they're going to be telling you what that is and why it's there and what its value is. I just have tremendous respect for their knowledge, for their never-ending desire to learn, and for their never-ending desire to want to be outside doing things for wildlife. If they're out there working for our natural resources, it's going to be okay.
Any child suffering today of cancer is
Hello, everyone. I'm Mary Beth Lampy. I'm the president of Cross Timbers chapter. I want to welcome everybody here tonight. We're really happy that everyone showed up. And I'm going to go through a presentation. You can ask questions as we go along. You have a little handout that you can refer to also. So let's get started. What is a naturalist? When I joined this chapter back in 2016, my friends make fun of me a lot and I make fun of them. So, you know, what are friends for, right? And they said, oh, you're a naturist. Anybody know what a naturist is? We're not naturists, we're naturalists. And then, oh, you're a master, so you know everything. I'm like, no, we don't know everything. That kind of gets me, but there's a definition here. It says that you're seeking knowledge. That's why you're a master. So Christopher Buttle, whoever he is, says a naturalist studies the natural environment, generally with a broad range of interests, rather with a particular specialty. So that's what I love about being a master naturalist, that you can learn a little bit about everything. You can really delve into something, but the horizon is open for you to learn about everything. And then I really like this quote: the best thing about being a master naturalist is I feel like I've gone home. So you get to hang out with people that feel the same way you do, and you're enjoying nature, and you're also helping make the world a better place. So as you saw from the video, the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department decided they needed some volunteers, and that's what this program came from. So the mission of our program is based upon developing well-informed volunteers to provide education, outreach, and service dedicated to the beneficial management of natural resources and natural areas within their communities for the state of Texas. And we have a Texas Parks and Wildlife urban biologist for our area. I didn't even know how many people knew that there were urban biologists. I think of Texas Parks and Wildlife as the Texas Parks and the game warden. Yeah, but we have a Fort Worth urban biologist who's our chapter sponsor, and she's very involved. And then there's also a Dallas sponsor, or an urban biologist. There's a Dallas urban biologist that will come and talk to our chapter and is involved in our chapter also. But I don't feel like I'm the master of anything, and that's my point. Here's a definition that says to become skilled or proficient in, like to try to master something. And masterful means inclined and usually competent. That's me, I'm usually competent. Sometimes incompetent. So the program history is, as you saw, it started in San Antonio in 1997. Our chapter was formed in 99. So we've been around 25 years, right? And today, that video is a little bit older. Today and this is as of 2 years ago, 48 chapters, 213 counties, over 78% of Texas. I went to the annual meeting recently and met with some other annual meeting of all the chapters in the state of Texas. And some of these counties out here in West Texas, they said they're having trouble just getting people to join their chapters. But we're in a big metropolitan area and have a lot of people, and we don't have that problem. What do master naturalists do? They assist in helping the Parks and Wildlife Agency mission, or we have also a connection with the Fort Worth Nature Center, and we help the Fort Worth Nature Center. We have a connection with Fort Worth Botanic Garden and Britt, and we help them. We volunteer at all those places. We help to improve public access to the outdoors. We increase support and awareness for conservation for private and public lands. And the more you know, the more you want to share with people about what you've learned and how we can help and preserve our environment. Through 2022, over 16,000 volunteers in the state of Texas were trained. Over 6.4 million hours were volunteered with a value of over $140 million. That is very significant. And then over 400,000 youth and adults were reached, and to annually, and 6.86 million to date. So what you see here are people going out and doing some kind of project, talking to somebody, and then a table of outreach at one of our parks at one of the Fort Worth events. We support wildlife biology and natural resources. We promote conservation partnerships. We improve science and data collection. There's this thing that you can do with your phone. Do y'all ever do the thing where you can identify something with your phone? Was it picture this or something? What do you use?
Picture this, but there's all sorts of apps.
Okay, we like to use iNaturalist. And this is Mr. iNaturalist over there.
I know a little.
He may go by Brent, but he's Mr. iNaturalist. That's a database that you can contribute to by identifying where you're seeing certain species, anything living. We share knowledge of ecosystem, species, habitats, and environmental demands, and we work with communities and organizations. That little picture in the lower right is one of my loves. I go and check bluebird boxes. How many people have seen a bluebird box in a public space? Yeah. So I check it and then I enter that data into the Cornell Nest Watch. And that way they can track how many bluebirds have been fledged, have been born and become successful adults. This program has won numerous awards. One, I just highlighted a couple, the Audubon Society Habitat Hero, Governor's Volunteer Award for Community Leadership, Innovation in American Government Award, Bright Idea in American Government, Keep Texas Beautiful Award. I put that in there just to make you think, what? No, I actually did a little fancy thing here. So about our chapter, we have about 200 active members. This is new for me to do this slide in stuff. Our chapter meetings are on the third Monday of each month and guests are welcome. The dues are $25 a year. The training class last year was 28, probably be 28 this year. And to be certified each year, you give 40 hours of volunteer service, active doing something, and then you do 8 hours of studying or listening to a lecture or watching a state-approved video that the state provides for us. So you have your roadmap in front of you. Let's take a look at that. And I'm a former teacher. I did it for a while. I'm not as good as some of our other teachers that we've got here, but I know that repetition is something that's effective and it works with me. Like when I'm trying to learn a bird, if I hear that bird maybe 10 or 20 times, then I'll finally learn it. So we're going to repeat this stuff a little bit. So the roadmap is to complete training of 10 classes, which are every Tuesday night from 6 till 9, and 4 field trips, which are going to be on the weekend, usually Saturday from 9 to 3. Yeah. So that's your training. The first year is considered from August to December. So we're in the first year. The second year would be starting in January and going all the way to December. So to become certified, members who earn certification are recognized at our yearly awards ceremony at our chapter meeting in March. To become certified, you volunteer 40 hours and then you do 8 hours of that advanced training or learning. And you pay yearly dues of $25. So that's what I do, Melinda, Ryan, Erica, Brent, we all do that to get certified every year. So what's that? To renew our certification. To renew our certification. To renew our certification every year. And if you go through training, you can either be certified in the first year, which means you'd have to start in August and do 40 hours of volunteer work from August to December and 8 hours of advanced training from August to December. Or you could be certified option 2 to, option 1 was to be certified in the second year. Option 2 is to do it in the first year. Does that make sense? So the steps to joining are to apply online. How many people here have applied online? Okay, very good, very good. And I hope you all know where our website is. You don't? Okay. Then you apply online until July 3rd. That's what the last day to apply. And then applicants will be notified by July 20th. Everybody will be notified by July 20th, whether you were accepted or not. Last year, we had 62 people apply and 28 accepted. If you're not accepted, I say volunteer with us. Come out and volunteer at a project. Let us get to know you and come attend the chapter meetings. So if you are accepted, you pay $150 for training. We do have scholarships of $100 available, and you can apply for a scholarship. You complete the training, which is August 20th to November 11th. We have 11 classes offered. You only have to attend 10. Last year, we had a very enthusiastic class, and a lot of people went ahead and attended all 11 classes. You have to complete 4 out of the 5 field trips. And again, last year, a lot of people came and did all 5 field trips because they're fun. And then you become certified. Like we talked about, you can either do that in the first year or in the second year. Here's our tentative training schedule, and the training schedule's on the back of your handout. And there's actually been a change to that one that was printed. And it has to do with the, which one is it? The prairie field trip? The forest field trip. Okay, so it is up to date on the website, but we had to move that field trip around. We made it later?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. She's gonna be up there.
Okay. And these classes are taught by some of our members, by one person who's teaching the class on reptiles and amphibians, is an expert and has written 2 or 3 books.
This book comes out like a week or something.
Yeah.
Even next week.
Okay. So local resources, and they're great classes. And a couple of the classes are taught by our urban biologist from Texas Parks and Wildlife. Here's the book that we use. Oh, I meant to bring my book. It makes a good doorstop.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Expected to memorize every word.
It's
End of course test and all.
Yeah. It's a great resource. Sometimes I take it out and read it just because it's fun. Easy to read. So here's some of the topics that will be covered in class. Historic naturalists, ecological concepts, the ecoregions of Texas, aquatics, forests, prairies, urban systems, mammals, birds, arthropods, herps. What's a herp? Management of natural systems, interpretation and communication. I guess that means like teaching people, being a docent, that kind of thing. Geology and archaeology. Our free field trip locations have been the Fort Worth Nature Center, the Stella Rowan Prairie in Fort Worth, the Southwest Nature Preserve, which is in Arlington. Okay, the Molly Holler Wildscape and River Legacy Science Center, those are all in Arlington. So that would be 54 hours of classroom and field experience. That's 10 sessions of classes and 4 field trips. So there again is your
You do all the optional ones though. So.
What's that?
That 54 was if you did all of the
Oh.
optional everything.
Right. So we have a lot of volunteer opportunities, and we call them projects. They have to be approved by the board, whether it's an approved place for you to go and volunteer, like the Fort Worth Nature Center or the Botanic Garden. Each member is encouraged to work 40 hours at one of those projects. They're coordinated by our chapter. Here's a map showing you how spread out the projects are. So here we are all the way out to Mineral Wells, Weatherford, Arlington, Flower Mound, Colleyville, up by Lake Worth, and down south by Lake Benbrook. You can see we cover a really broad area.
Mary Beth, real quick, if you guys want to go ahead and mark the forest system field trip, it's not on the 12th. It's on the 19th. So go ahead and mark that on your paper. It is correct on the website, but go ahead and mark it. So there
Thanks.
won't be any confusion. I know, but you didn't have a date.
Okay, to the teacher.
Thank you.
Sure, let's see.
I'm done.
Yes,
On the 40 hours, it doesn't always have to be at the same place.
no,
So you can just spread it.
right.
Spread the
Good
load.
question. Yeah, your volunteer hours don't have to be at the same place. I also volunteer at the Southwest Public Library. If you've ever been there off of Hewlin, it has a pollinator garden. And some of our people or chapter members are going to tell you where they volunteer. So these are the projects that we had the most hours. We have people that go every week and work reliably at these places. Molly Holler, Randall Mills, Sherry Capehart, Fort Worth Nature Center, Botanic Research Institute of Texas, the White Settlement Pollinator Garden, Bluebird Mox Monitoring, and the Fort Worth Botanic Garden. Advanced training is usually something that's in person where you go and listen to a chapter meeting, or you go listen to a talk. It could be a talk online, but it's supposed to be live if you listen to it online. Or the one exception is you can watch the Texas Master Naturalist Tuesday, once a month Tuesday lecture, which is recorded.
Those live for the Tuesday ones are like at noon on Tuesday. So if you can't do that, that one is approved to watch recorded.
Right,
And they're well worth watching. You get to do it.
they are.
They're on YouTube. They're real easy to find. So you can either go to the website and find out, or you can find them on YouTube, and there's super easy to find.
So why do we want to become a master naturalist? To make a difference, to learn, to appreciate, to develop new friendships, hang with your peeps, and get our awards and recognition. Ryan, show them all your awards. She has lots of pins.
My 500-hour volunteer pin. I'll do anything for flair.
You have a lot of flair. And again, here's information about applying. Questions? You've got to have questions.
Can I see that one before?
Sure. So,
classroom on the field trips, but you're not certified. Certified is an additional 40.
Right. Right. What I did was I did my training, and then I was working and had other responsibilities, and I actually skipped the whole year. And then I got certified the next year. Our former president, I think, did her training. We don't encourage this.
No.
Don't be like me. Do what I say. So to be, yeah, you can get certified that year if you really want to by volunteering 40 hours from August to December, or you can wait until the next year and get certified.
So you have to do the 40 within a year, with the one exception being the one-time exception when you start training. You can go until the following December and carry hours through till you get your first 40. Or you can do your first 40 in December, qualify, and then the next year do another 40.
Like I did the 40 from August until December, and then Teddy over here was so amazing this year. She not only did the 40, she double certified. She got her 40 and an additional 40. So she was able to get before the end of the year. So we have a lot of people that, hit the ground running when it comes to volunteering, and we have people that are slow to find exactly what they need. So it kind of goes at your own pace.
And as of the first day of class, so August the 20th, as of that date, that's the first day you can officially start volunteering.
We're counting.
I mean, we would love you to
Yeah,
volunteer
volunteer
before
now.
that.
We don't count.
Please come volunteer now. But that's when you can start counting those hours.
And
then
40 is so super easy to
It's
get.
not
It really
hard.
is. I worried about that when I first joined. I was like, how am I gonna do 40 hours? I'm like, that's 4 a month for 10 months, maybe. And then I average probably 200, 250 hours. a year, so.
Yeah,
But I'm an overachiever.
I get about 200 to 250 because, a lot of it is just doing classes.
Yeah, we do a lot with the class.
We do a lot with that, but it's not that hard. And the advanced training is really easy to get also because 10 of our 12 chapter meetings every year are eligible for credit for that. So for every meeting you come to, you get 1 hour of advanced training. So if you come to all 10 of our certifiable meetings, I guess, I don't know what I would call it, official, the monthly meetings.
And they're the third Monday every month
Yeah.
here, next
Right
door,
across the hall usually.
the next 2 months, the most incredible Sam
Yeah.
Kishnik is speaking the next 2 meetings, and if you've never heard him speak,
He's
She'll
also
change
a
your life.
speaker at our introductory class.
And if you go to the state annual meeting, there's an annual state meeting every year. If you go to that, the hours you've been training classes down there count as 18. You can do 3 or 4 times how much you need for a year just that week. So
And
there are
on your
plenty of
couch.
ways to do
When
it,
is
so I'm sorry.
You can also attend the chapter meeting via Zoom.
Yes.
So you can come in person. We have what's called a hybrid meeting. And we have probably 40 people that attend in person and 40 that are on Zoom.
Yeah, and if you can't do something like, you don't wanna, like, if you're, for whatever reason, not able to get out, like you're mentioning, there are volunteer projects that you can do from, literally from your couch. Like,
Right.
Britt has a program where you're documenting different specimens, and you do it on the computer.
Just transcribing.
Transcribing data. We have also opportunities working with the board. We have opportunities, what's another one that you do from home? DFW Wildlife Coalition is a help, they have like a hotline. If you find, and you guys are saying, and then you will do shifts just answering calls after hours for people that have found, like a bird that fell in a nest or whatever, so.
I have a question here. She keeps raising her hand.
Hash.
Coco Rock, you have the rain gate.
Oh, right. And I haven't done that.
Zero forever, but.
we got a question
Go
right
quick,
here.
say it quick.
When is the annual meeting? Is that?
Annual meeting is always the last or the third weekend in October.
We have a field trip that weekend.
I think it's the weekend of October 25th.
This
She
year,
knows that we
this
have
is
field trip
the
on
first
weekends.
time, we always try to finish beforehand, but it just hasn't worked out the last couple of years.
Or try not to schedule them so we can, it's just cadence of the class. It's
So
really
since
hard
you've
to.
got 5 sports in the field
Well,
trip,
this year,
last
we
field trip,
started to try to, this year we tried to start the field trips a little bit later, so it wasn't so hot. So a lot of the times we had problems with it was so hot.
And it's really easy to find projects. There's so many different things you can do. And I think our third meeting is the volunteer partner night where we have representatives from all of our different partner organizations, or most of them, will come and do a little presentation, talk about what they're doing, the kinds of opportunities they have available for you to volunteer, to give information about what you could do to help that particular organization. So there's definitely something for everyone at all different levels of physical exertion and
Or not.
or not. I mean, it can be sitting for anything from hard labor to, sitting on the couch. So there's a lot of opportunities.
Question.
I have 2 questions. So are any of these classes hybrid, like the monthly meetings, or they're in person?
Yes.
So what if we, like I travel frequently for work, what if we miss one of each other? Is there a way to make it up?
Really can't just.
Case by case basis, case by case basis.
But really, you do have to attend 10 out of the 11 classes. So, sometimes it doesn't work with people's schedules and things like that. So it's really would have to be a
Yeah, I mean, if you have a,
emergency situation.
if you've got a trip planned that you're gonna miss a couple meetings and you've already booked it and whatever, maybe this wouldn't be your year. Because it's just, it's really, we give a little bit of leeway allowing you to miss the one class. It's really hard to make it up. I mean, if something really extraordinary came up, we can do our best to work with you and maybe find an alternative, but we really like to stress that if you don't think you're going to be available this particular year, instead of half doing it, maybe put it off and try next year when you're more available. So it's kind of what
Our classes held here.
Most of them. There are a few that will be at the Fort Worth Nature Center, but most of them will be.
2 of the classes will be at the Fort Worth Nature Center this year, and the field trips, 2 of the field trips. 2 classes, yeah.
Any other questions?
There it is.
The classes themselves, so say for instance, we're doing geology and archaeology, I mean, that's a big spectrum, I'm assuming it's just kind of an overview.
Yes.
But you were talking about you having to memorize birds, sounds, so I can remember this stuff, so as a master naturalist, you're kind of looked upon it knowing things, so my question is there a test or is there stuff?
Yeah,
How do
the
you?
end of course test. you have to pass.
No, there's no test.
I don't know.
There's no test. This is to train you,
Or at least
to introduce you.
Nobody's gonna expect you to remember, because I can't.
because everybody has their passions,
Yeah.
like I love snakes, he loves dragonflies, you know, you're just kind of dipping your toes in all that there is when it comes to nature. And then through that, I think is a lot of people find
What they're really
love.
interested in.
And I
And I
mean,
mean,
to add Teddy.
it's designed to make you a well-rounded volunteer. So,
Like,
know a
I
little
know,
bit about
so
life.
if you're gonna have a friend that's like, hey, this is mine. Load it up in an hour, and you know everything.
I probably get 5 or 6 texts a week from people that know me and know that I'm doing something. They'll find something in their yard and go, I don't know what this is, what is this?
They're like, I'd rather text you than Google it.
Yeah, yeah, so I get that, and I mean, I know a little bit, do I know everything? Absolutely.
Yeah, and I get those
not.
questions,
screenshot it
and
and
I
alert
frequently have to say, I really don't know, but I will.
I'll find out.
I have a new boss, and I just left work the other day, 2 weeks ago, and was driving, I see a text pop up notification from him, and I'm like, crap, I just left the office, what? Let me pull over and look, the picture of, like, by the way, I keep seeing these, what are they?
Well, you know, you're gonna get your big book. There is, like my bestie that I made in 2020, she has her doctorate in English, so she will she post-its, she had highlighted, she had pre-read, and I never opened my book one time because that's not who I am as a person.
But we
But-
discourage
I like to listen, I like to look, but you have that book to be able to pre-read if you want to, or read afterwards, but it gives you a lot of different, just, like I said, dips your toes in a bunch of different things,
But as an example, so the insect class, we can't teach you in 3 hours, everything written on our insects. So we have 2 people, we split the class, Teddy, right?
No,
Erica, somebody, one of you, I was looking at you, but yes, you are doing the first half, and then I'll be doing the second half, just on dragonflies. I still can't in an hour and a half teach you everything there is to know about dragonflies, I can teach you a lot. And hopefully make it fun, whether you care about them or not, hopefully I can get your interest in them up, but. And she teaches them, does tell them the truth. Spider lady, she has 150, right, tarantulas, 120 tarantulas in her house. So she'll be talking a little bit about spiders.
Tammy, like, whatever you're into, somebody in this group.
There's a weirdo in the group that
There's
is
a
really
weirdo for you, because your soulmate, so
Yeah.
just, it's kind of crazy.
Okay, next.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, yeah.
So, do y'all have volunteer opportunities now?
We do, any of those in that map, all those locations, and I will tell you, that we do, our reason for B is to be a volunteer organization to help nature-based organizations in the area. So we do take that into consideration when we're looking at our applications, because what we really want is we want people, it doesn't mean you have to have volunteered, but if you do start volunteering now, that does help your case is to getting into the program. So I would encourage you to go ahead and look into those opportunities, and if you, I will also guarantee you that somebody on the board or somebody here tonight can post a good direction to give you a contact information, somebody who's running those programs, and we have a really good relationship with all those good organizations. So
You're on our mailing list.
yeah, we get emails about things coming out. And
Reach out, ask somebody what to.
yeah. But yeah, you can start now for sure. But as far as actually getting accepted to the class and starting to go towards certification, that will begin as of August
Now, you can't count the hours in four shifts, but
Right.
first day of class. you can
But
start
it's,
counting.
it's good to have that on your resume, that, to show that you're willing to volunteer, because we're looking for people who are enthusiastic, and we're looking for people that we think are gonna have a really great chance of volunteering, because as a volunteer organization, that is our mission.
But don't be scared.
But if you haven't volunteered, there are people who have not volunteered in
I never
an hour.
volunteered before.
I never did, and I had 500 hours.
And so it's like, that's not a disqualifier if you don't have a volunteer history. It's just your willingness to do it, your enthusiasm, your desire to get out there and do something to make a difference. That's what we're looking for. So
Just like
And
Mary
don't
Beth,
be
like Mary Beth
discouraged.
said, we have the problem of too many applications in the
Yeah.
urban environment. We in the past have always kept the class size at 25. Last year we went to 28. Little pushes the resources that we have available to do, but
And the limits are, it's not necessarily class size. I mean, we do meet in this room across the hall usually, and there is, limited space, but also on the field trips, you get a better experience when there are fewer people and you're not just overwhelming the people who are running the field trips. So we do try to keep it 28 and below. I think 28 is the most we've ever had in class. So, and we would love to just be able to say, just take everybody, we love everybody. But to be in the class is really hard. We have to make some difficult choices.
Are there ever any cross-chapter partnerships for problems for these these chapters that don't have as many people in them?
Mary Beth, you want to address that?
I don't know of any. The only thing I know is like, we have you here who, he was certified down in another chapter. And if you're certified in another chapter, you just transfer it in.
We do have, I think, some
There are
people from,
projects where you'll go and there'll be other
Yeah.
mentors that have come to like, say, Rick's doing something. There may be people from Dallas
Oh,
or.
there are
Weatherford,
also,
or
here's an important point. Your first 40 hours have to be done in approved projects in Tarrant or Parker County. They can't be outside those two counties. Once you've completed your first 40 hours, if there's a project in another county that, you want to do or work with another chapter or whatever, you're able to count those hours if they're approved Master Naturalist projects, but the first 40 hours have to be Tarrant and Parker.
And even then, we still look for, hopefully you do the majority of your hours within Tarrant and Parker.
Yeah.
Do you have to live in Tarrant Park to be in the first one?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. It's easier on you usually if you do, because most of our projects are here. Anybody else have anything? And again, like we're gonna move on, and we've got a couple other little short presentations. But at the end of this meeting, we are gonna stay around as long as we need to. So if anybody has any questions at the end, we're not going anywhere. So if you don't get a chance to ask, just after the presentation go through, we'll be around to answer, and we'll have our board members and our last class. Yes.
So if you wanted to volunteer, do you just tell them, hey, I'm working on being a master naturalist, and
Yeah, I
they
mean,
tell you, or you put the hours, or you write them down?
we'll I believe the first class we'll have a little tutorial, that's a good word, on how to record your hours. There's a website, with Texas Parks and Wildlife, that you go in and you record your hours. So you self-report all your hours. You usually, wherever you go, you're signing in, and it's an honor system. I mean, we assume if you say you work 3 hours at the nature center, you work 3 hours at the nature center. So it's not like we're going back and double checking everything.
And depending on where you volunteer, like at the nature center, you have to have background checks, and you have to register as a volunteer, and they'll log your hours too. And like for nature center, you get pins for volunteering certain hours out there. So it depends on where you're choosing to go, on whether or not you have to register with them and pass the background checks and stuff like that.
Yes, if you want to go to the Fort Worth Nature Center, for example, Kenneth Nally, he's a Master Naturalist class of 2014, who graduated with me. He's their volunteer coordinator out there. And so you would just call him, you fill out a little form, give him some information, and then he would say, yes, and also when you're in Master Naturalist, we do background checks for everybody, because we sometimes work with children, we work, with the public. So you will be required to pass the background check, and it's nothing too crazy. So, So you will already have that done, so you'll already have your background check. But then if you want to sign up with different organizations, sometimes you just show up and say, hey, I'm here to volunteer. It just depends on the organization. We're happy to help you, guide you toward like what you need to do to prepare for that, for whatever we're doing. Anybody else?
And you'll get a list of the pre-location.
Yes, yes, you'll get a
And you
list.
get that, just go through it and this is what I want to start.
And that's on the website. A lot of these projects, like the pollinator gardens, will have a scheduled work day, maybe twice a week, once a week, twice a month. And you find out who the contact person is, make sure they're all gonna be there, and then so you know, and you join that group that's gonna be there at that certain time.
It's an extremely welcoming organization, and everybody, we are so happy to have anybody come out and volunteer in any of these projects. Like don't worry about feeling awkward or feeling weird about it. Like you will be welcome with open arms, and that includes if, God forbid, you don't get accepted this year, you still want to volunteer with us, we will love to have you. You will be very much accepted, and we will be happy for you to be there. And it's not, I mean, like, don't feel weird about showing up at a project and saying, I want to volunteer this. You will be welcome. Everybody, we're looking for people who are willing to get out there and do the work.
Right, and if you didn't make it in, if you don't make it in this year, make sure you put out on then your next application that you have already applied.
Yes.
Because we do take that into consideration.
Yeah, come back next year, reapply, and let us know on your application. I tried in 2024, I didn't make it because of class size. I'm trying again in 2025 because we take that into account.
We had one person
Last year,
who had not gotten in the year before, and she went out and worked really hard during that next year and got in this next class. She put in a lot of volunteer hours. She's gone to the nature center in some different places. She double certified, like, I mean, she didn't get in the year before, so it doesn't mean, I mean, it's a hard choice that we have to make sometimes. So we just have to go by what we're seeing in the application. We'll usually do like a phone interview. So you can, if you don't get accepted, it doesn't mean that we don't want you, and it means you can still go on and do amazing things. She got in last year. She double certified. I don't even know how many hours she's got now, but she's just a workhorse. She's just going out and volunteering all the time. Now she's doing an internship with, oh my gosh, she told me last night. I can't remember. Yes.
One of the things that nobody mentioned too is when we started orientation last year, when we got accepted, we were assigned little mini groups.
Yes.
So our group of 4 people became very familiar with each other.
Mentors.
Some,
Yeah.
with the mentors, some of them became more close to each other. And we also formed friendships with other dog members. Like I found out one of the other ladies was like 3 extra stuff to the drum with me. You know,
Yeah.
so we wanted a group ride to make it very easy. Or when the time that all the electricity went out and she couldn't get a car out of the yeah, those kind of things. So the friendships that you form as part of the group are always great.
Yeah, we do. We will have a mentor program this year. So there's people that are already certified master naturalists in the group. Will each get assigned, like we're talking about, 4 or 5 people that are kind of in the same general geographic area. So those people get to know really well, and a lot of our groups were volunteering together. They have people that they could rely on to go to places that maybe they weren't familiar with and were feeling a little weird about. But yeah, it's been a great program, the mentoring program, and honestly, I think last year's mentoring program is definitely the most successful that we've had so far. We had a lot of really great feedback and a lot of wonderful stories come out of it. So, and that will be doing that. So you'll be assigned somebody that can help you with your journey, can give you some advice and everything.
answer any questions you have. Your mentor will be your.
And of course,
point
we're always here
contact.
for questions too, but the mentor, will be an additional point of contact.
So we're ready for our other questions?
Yeah, we've got, Teddy's gonna talk, and then after Teddy, we'll have Teresa come up, and they're just gonna talk, since they're recent graduates from last year, they're gonna talk a little bit about their experience, what it's like from that first year, and
Then we'll do more questions after. Anything else you want to ask?
I started
That's what I'm on. Okay, here we go. Ooh, this is loud. You can hear me? Wow, I'm not used to that. Okay, I just have a few slides. 1 second. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
You're not loud.
Okay. It sounds really weird and echoey. Okay, so who likes what Snoopy's talking about? Sunlight, air, plants, soil, birds. You're in the right place if you like those things. They covered these things. You're going to kind of cover aquatic, forest, prairie, urban, reptiles, birds, mammals. Who is the reptiles person? Not many. Birds? Okay.
Bugs.
Bugs.
Right on, bug people.
And then plants. Crazy plant ladies, forests, or crazy plant men too. It's funny you mentioned people applying. I applied 3 times and no one ever saw my application. So
I think she applied through.
like 3 years in a row. Crazy.
Yeah.
So something went wrong, but
Oh, no.
I was in the right class. I was in the right class, the right year, the right time. So if it doesn't happen, there's a reason.
Tell us who you are.
Oh, I'm sorry. You don't know? No, my name is Teddy Zonker. Not really. Teddy Zonker, and I came through last year. But yeah, I applied 3 times and was like, what is wrong? I do all the things. And
Don't apply on the Parks and Wildlife.
yeah. Yeah. So just make sure they got your stuff. But again, I was in the right place at the right time.
Check in.
Yes.
There's a reason you don't hear from us.
Yeah.
You know.
And I say that because I include my dog because I love my dog and she has to be in every slideshow. But I met someone through this program that went through the therapy dog program and I'm like, oh, I wanted to do that. How do I do that? No, it's not related to plants and animals and stuff like that. But now I have a therapy dog. She's got her little heart and we're actually going to a school to meet with kids. So there was a reason because that wouldn't have happened. Let's see. Oh, when you get the call to interview, I got the call.
I have my notes right here still.
Really? Uh-oh. You were transporting a possum. And I almost cried. I was like, goals. That's what I want to do. I want to transport a possum. And you're going to see there's a picture I transported a possum. And I wanted the flare. So that's why I double certified. And I wanted the flare. But I'm going to tell you guys definitely, how do I? Okay. Attend every class. Attend every class. Keep in mind these guys are volunteers. Every single one of them. We're not being paid. No one's being paid to do all the stuff that's on your desk. So they're volunteers. And that's my word of advice is attend every class. Attend every field trip. Look how fun. I mean, it covers everything. Bugs, birds, all kinds of stuff. This guy with the, he don't even know he's back there. And at the end, you get cake. Like, how cool is that?
All that for.
I know. So flare and cake. And I love this quote, if I can see it. If all insects, and this was during one of the classes. If all insects on Earth, if I can see, disappear within 50 years, all life on Earth. Wait, hold on. I can't read. I know, I can't read. It's very small. If all insects on Earth disappeared, within 50 years, all life on Earth would end, right? If all human beings disappeared from Earth, within 50 years, all forms of life would flourish. So, there are a lot of times in the class where you'll get a quote or something like that and you're brought to tears and it's really cool. So don't miss. Come to every class, come to every field trip. Be proud that you fully supported your class, your mentors, your leaders, and do something for you. When do you do something for you? There's always an excuse, right? Oh my gosh, last one. Oh no, not the last one. Look, you can do that. Like, I died and I actually called my friend. I'm like, you gotta come with me. You gotta see this. I was dying. It was so great. But these are some of the places I volunteer at. You'll hear NIPSOT and I can't say it, and PAT. They are two different things. I was very confused at the first because you're like, what are all these things? Native Plant Society, Native Prairies. Then this is Cocoa Ross. If you have a weather, like a rain gauge, you have to get a certain type of rain gauge though for that, but you record every day. Texas Native Cats, if you like the big cats, definitely download this. If you haven't done it yet, download it tonight. It's really, who has INAT? Who does it? It's really fun. Good job. And Sam will make you do it.
Don't have it, you will.
Yeah, but it's really fun. And you, again, can be like your Google for your friends. So DFW Wildlife Hotline, I do that every Friday night, answer the calls. These are some of the things that you're not going and picking them up. You're just giving them resources of who they can take them to or someone that can transport them. So, but unless it's a possum, I'm going to pick it up. But yeah, birds, squirrels, all kinds of things. This one was funny. She's like, I don't know what to do. This raccoon keeps coming to my place. Well, hello, you've got like a beautiful bowl of food. So I'm like, just stop eating it. Don't do that. So it gets really busy certain times of the year. Another one is Lights Out for Wildlife. Has anyone heard of that? Okay, where you turn the Fort Worth. Yeah, so that's good. Fort Worth did a really good job this year. That's a bat that we got to pick up off the street and take to a rehabber. And then this is a bird that got let go at Sandy Hills. So it's really fun. You realize you're doing really good things.
What's the name of the weather station that you had on the?
It's Cocoa Ross, so it's COCORAHS. So just look up that website and then you can actually order your rain gauge. And
What is that animal that says recovered ran off? That's a squirrel.
it's a squirrel.
Oh.
These all went to rehab, yeah. And you'll get like it's like the first call I had was the rattlesnake. This lady was losing her mind, and it's okay, just leave it alone. So you're talking people off the ledge a lot of times.
When I have people tag me on Facebook constantly, what kind of snake is this? What is this? The thing with the possum, someone randomly said I live in Crescent, that there's a possum. And so Moo, who's the one who does all that, she's like, I'm in Mansfield, bring me the possum. And lady goes, there's no way. I'm like, I'm a teacher, I have no school. I'll come get it from Crescent. She's like, you'll drive to Crescent and drive it to Mansfield. Yes, I will. I will happily do that. So even you just have a little bit more confidence about what you know and what you and connections that you learn to make through some of those things to where you get to do fun cool stuff like that.
And also, we have a member who, she's not active at the moment, but she was a few years ago, who was a actual opossum rehabber. And so every spring in her house, she had a room in her house, and that she'd get all her volunteer hours during that one, period of time. And she would have all these little baby possums she was having to feed. It was really cool. Like I went over there once to see them. But I mean, she's no longer active instructor at the moment, but yeah, I mean, you can as get involved as you want. I mean, they also look for people to do that. That's pretty intensive and not for everyone. So I wouldn't embark in that direction unless you're 5,000,000% certain that's what you want to do.
Yeah, and they did say, I guess the possums are the easiest because the lady in Denton's trying to get me to do it. You feed them at night, so you can, yeah, and I was like, ooh, maybe. So I could have like 20 pounds. I will. Yeah, so definitely when you see that list, take initiative and contact those places and just start. Again, you're doing the class hours, you're doing the field trip hours, you do your 40 and your 8. So advanced training sounded a little scary. It's just meetings. That's easy. It's just Zoom meetings or in-person meetings, or if you go on the website now, you don't get credit for it, but you can watch. It's called CTMN Tuesdays. And those are all the monthly meetings. And that's what I started when I first got approved. I did all of those and they were like, there's no way you have all these hours right now. Yeah. So yeah, your classes, your 40 and your 8. And they'll later talk about double certifying, and then it gets really confusing, but that's basically 80 and 16. So if you're
Before January.
really crazy,
Yeah.
I just wanted this Texas pin, so
Yeah,
I did it.
The next year's one's a rattlesnake.
Yeah, we're doing that. So definitely attend the class, attend the field trip, take the initiative, and then something that happened the first night, whenever you meet for your first night, you'll see if they do it the same way, different people that have gone through. And something that struck me was when they said, this program changed my life. And I'm like, wow, how? I want that. So this is my world. And actually there's someone here, Kevin, he knows my world because he had come to some of my talks about raising butterflies and feeding butterflies with your yard. This was last summer, my front yard. I just quit watering. It was insane. It was so hot, and it's going to be that way again. So I just quit watering, pulled it all out. That was this weekend. That's fast, but I learned about the right native plants. And when I learned about all these bugs and all these things, I'm like, I want more of that in my yard. My backyard, yeah, it's like that, but it's just so cool to walk this little sidewalk and be like, oh, I've never seen that. What is it? You do the INAT. So it's really cool. I don't know. That changed my front yard. It's changed the kids in my neighborhood because they're all like, let's go to the lady's house. There's like a little painted rock trail. And they always say we want to go down and trade the rocks and see what's in there and see what plants and what colors. There's like a little hopscotch. It's crazy. And I'm in Watauga, so and I don't have an HOA.
What is that on your hand?
Which one? This?
The moth.
Oh, from how do you say it? From me. Thank you, Polyphemus moth. That actually came from someone that lives near the nature center, and he was like, I found this when I was doing the yard work. I don't know what this is. And I was like, oh, I will take it. And it came out. I was so excited. That's a monarch caterpillar. Those are pipevines. These are the pipevine caterpillars. Have you ever seen that butterfly? Anyone know about pipevine? There's not a lot of pipevine you can't buy it at Home Depot or the store very easily. So I have a lot of pipe, P-I-P-E.
Okay.
So I have a lot of pipevine and a lot of caterpillars. That was
Did you just like capture, you can do that with salt marsh moths, like put them all over your hands. Did you just like go pluck them off and put them all over your hand?
It sounds crazy. I have
No, it
probably 100 pipevine plants throughout the yard, and they eat like teenage boys. I raised teenage boys, so I can say that. And they were done with that area, so I had to move them to another area. So yeah, it's crazy. And then Miss Frida, that's her ad at the library. So yeah, it changed my world in my front yard, and then it changed what I do with her. We go to a senior living center, we go to the library, summer camps, schools. So it can change your life. That's really cool. That's it. Thank you.
Some of y'all may be warm, but I'm anemic, so with my jacket, kind of thing. So I am nice and warm. I also get to show off my little dragon pin and all that business on my jacket, that kind of thing. Well, my name is Teresa Pisani, and I'm a retired advanced practice nurse. A few years ago, right before COVID hit, I started doing hospice nursing with my sister for a couple of years, and then I had a lot of free time, to do with gardening and spending on things that I had never gotten to do because I raised 3 kids, and between us, we have 6 kids, my husband and I, 16 the last time I counted grandchildren, and 8+ great children. They're still producing grades, okay? And my side hasn't even started. So I am an overachiever by far. Last year alone, I certified as a Texas Master Gardener, which by the way, I had over 300 hours, just saying. Those kind of things. I did Master Naturalist. I didn't quite get as many there, but I was always busy. I finished my native landscape certification program which is a 2-year project, going to classes. And this year I'm starting to volunteer as a walker through that program because my passion is native plants. My goal with our couple acres out in the middle of the boonies is to return nature back to the property, which if you look around me is kind of hard. It's easy on some counts, but it's hard because the developers are buying old properties and building mansions. It's good for my property value, but other than that, those kind of things. And also for fun, because I like nutrition and teaching gardening at schools and libraries and senior citizens, I do Texas Master Wellness. So I get to put all this stuff together and go talk to seniors or little kids. Either way, I get to play with little animals or play with bugs or play with soil. And that's always fun too. My role up here, part of it is I'm the representative from the class to the advisory board. And mainly what I do there is I went out and talked to a lot of the members throughout the program to see what the problems were, encourage them to talk to mentors. They would query with me on certain questions, those kind of things. And there's always opportunities to grow with that position. And you got to go to all the advisory board meetings and those kinds of things. And you're representing your class, those kind of things. So it was a lot of fun. And currently right now, what I do is my favorite place to work is the Fort Worth Nature Center in the compost outpost. Anybody know where that is? That's fun. You want to see buggies and worms and all kinds of things, it was a lot of fun there. So one of my projects this year, besides the new greenhouse, is I'm doing vermicomposting. Anybody done the worm composting? If you want to play with worms, I had to tell several people already, they're not play toys. They're doing a job. Leave my worms alone. They looked at me like I had two heads. The biggest thing though is I'm getting a lot of credibility with the grandkids and the great grandkids. I took a 14-year-olds know everything, right? Okay. I took her to San Angelo State Park over spring break. And she was impressed that I could hike with her. Thank you, BioBlitz days and all my field trips, kind of thing. And we got to pet the buffalo. And the park ranger was amazed that, I could hike that long. He came multiple times because it was a slow week, just saying. And he says, "Are you doing okay? Do I look like I'm an old lady?" No, I am. So I'm adding credibility. And the great grandkids come over and we went and played with worms and garden snakes. And, there's a little credibility there. So that part is fun too. And everybody in the whole family was amazed when I had a picture showing me playing with one of her snakes. They're like, "You did what?" And my philosophy around the farm is if it's not hurting anything significantly, I don't kill it. I may motivate it to move elsewhere. By the way, I have a chicken and chickadees who like to come over and take care of things for me. I just kind of direct them in the right direction. They take care of slugs, crickets, and all kinds of goodies. I have feral cats. I'm allergic to cats, so they can't stay. But they come over and take care of things for me. And, there's always something for them at the edge of the property, right next to my neighbor's house. But they come over like 3 yards over, kind of thing. And I'm also friendly with the neighborhood ram, who likes to come through my yard to visit the ladies next door. And I help the neighbor come and get back his property without getting too upset until he attacks my brand new magnolia trees, and that kind of bothered me a little bit. But I'm known for the wildlife and the native plants. I have a lot of neighborhood kids that like to come over with the apples, and they like to play with the apple trees, or like to come play with the native plants. I'm not as big a fan of native plants as Kim is, but I'm trying. I have to convince my husband that more native plants is less mowing. So we're working on that aspect too. But the whole thing about the naturalist program, the Master Naturalist, is really, it rounded out my education. I'm a lifelong learner, always have been. But what I didn't learn in native plants, what I didn't learn in Master Gardening, I learned in Master Naturalist. So it really was the best program for me to finish up with. And I welcome the opportunity and would do it multiple times over. Okay. And if you really want to come play with animals that aren't mine, you're welcome to come by because everybody else does. Okay. Any questions or anything? And again, I apologize, I'm talking too fast, but that's the effect of steroids. Thank you.
I think that the last thing we'll do is if we have some members and board members here, so I'd like to just go around. If you're a member or board member, just like super briefly tell us where you volunteer, keep it, 30-second elevator speech, your volunteer, where you volunteer and how you take your hours. Right?
Oh, hi, I'm Ryan. And I did most of my volunteer hours at the Fort Worth Nature Center, both doing Natural Guard, which is like outdoor stuff, building, clearing trails. I also, like I said, love snakes, and so I will get the snake out and handle her or him, and just let the kids walk in. I teach 3rd grade science, so like I love having the kids come in with the snakes to learn about snakes. I have a snake in my classroom. You'll meet her for sure. She comes around. But now lately I've been doing most of my hours just being on the committee.
Yeah, so I'm Erica. I'm also a master gardener as well, so I kind of split my time between that. So I live in Parker County, so most of my activity, if I'm outside, is going to be there. And I was on the board last year and the training committee, so most of my activity is a little bit more behind the scenes at this particular
And introduce yourself.
Oh, I don't know. Sorry, Meredith.
Oh, sorry.
I'm Meredith Lampy. I've done a lot of the administrative stuff. I've been on the board for several years, been vice president, president. I volunteer at the Southwest Public Library. Pollinator garden is a bunch of native plants, and then I also check bluebird boxes. I maintain our website. I have been doing all the Zoom stuff. So that's a little bit about me.
I'm Brent. I do a lot of my hours with the training committee, and probably equal or maybe even more. I do a lot of outreach group things using INAT, teaching about INAT, learning to use iNaturalist, excuse me, I think we call ourselves INAT. Using iNaturalist, we put on mock programs that will do nighttime things where we put up lights and bring in insects and help people learn about them and teach them and photograph and document what insects are there and so on, that kind of stuff. So I talk a lot, so this is my best at trying to keep it short. That's why I'm stuttering.
I'm currently the treasurer. I started here in 2017. I do a lot of volunteering for it's called the UN program, and it's for home. There's a study of animal population along the National Highway, and they have game capture cameras that send us images, and my job is to tag pictures from various locations and get it verified. That's one of the things that I work at the Fort Worth Nature Center, so I guess I do get the opportunity to volunteer out there, trash pickup, just walk along the trail, pick up the trash, walk along the river, you see trash there and pick up. Make sure the parking lot stay where it is. Yeah, there's endless opportunities as well.
I'm Zip, I was in the class, the West Catholic class. I'm also a master gardener and a certified citizen forester, so I split my time all over the place. One of the big things that we're doing currently is the Pioneer West Cemetery, which is a pretty old cemetery for Fort Worth. We're trying to restore that because it's been pretty hot. I use a lot of my master gardener hours and my natural hours too, as well as just lots of stuff. There's so much to learn. You guys, of course, you guys love volunteering. It's just a cool thing to do.
And then I'm Melinda, but most of my hours I get doing training, coordinating training committees, and I also enjoy volunteering at the Nature Center. There's a lot of different opportunities out there, so I'm a docent at the moment, so I've been taking kids groups. Sometimes when I can sneak away from work for a couple hours. And I also started out there doing Natural Guard. I do also do some outreach stuff, like Ryan and I go and do tables at different festivals and things. We'll set up a table and talk about the national departments. We do that. And I've also kind of made it a goal this last year, which I haven't done great about, but I'm trying to go different places I've never been before to volunteer. So like I started volunteering out at the White Settlement pollinator garden. I've done that a couple times, which is really nice. I hadn't done anything out there before, so that's fun. So, but there's a lot of opportunity stuff. So.
And we'll take any other questions and then really most importantly, eat that food,
Take the
please.
food.
Take it. Son, daughter, husband, wife,
Dog, we don't care.
please get something and take it, but we'll all be around if y'all want some questions and individual questions.
Mary Beth, did you want to say anything in closing?
No, thank you all for coming. Have a good night.
I didn't see